volume popping. Hey, Alpha Pants, I have your earrings on. It's so great that you're joining. I have your earrings on today. Welcome, everybody. Come on into the room. Yes, on this rainy, crazy Friday, at least in New York, right? Let's get some pictures going. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Yes, let's go. Look at this brother here. Come on. As my guest today, Mr. Rennie Harris. Or should I say Professor? Hey, JT. Hey. How you guys doing? Come on, John. Yes. That's Rennie Harris, kids. My Philadelphia brother. Let's see what else we got. Yes, and this is his amazing company, Rennie Harris Pure Movement. Yes, this is going to be a good one today. A storm just rolled through, and we still got a little bit of it, but I think we'll be okay. Yes, it's been too long. It absolutely has been. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Stay as long as you can. Yes, this is Rennie Harris Pure Movement, people. Let's see what else we got. Yes. Come on, brother. Come on, Rennie. Welcome to the room, kids. Welcome. Let me see what else we got. Yes. Oh, this right here. Woo. Woo, this piece right here. Let me get the title right. Prince Scarecrow's Road to the Emerald City. Oh my God, this masterpiece of a solo. Hey, Darren Ross. Come on in, folks. Yes. Oh, that solo was epic. It's everything. It's a masterpiece. Yes. Welcome, people. Welcome. Oh, wait. We know this face, right? When Rennie has had it. I love these photos. Hold on. Let me see what else we got. All right. Let me stop messing around. Oh, this is my favorites. Yes. How y'all doing? Welcome to the room. Welcome to my dannIGeeLive living room. We have the one and only Rennie Harris in the building today in my living room. But before I bring him on, I just have to say thank you to all of you who sent me messages of support and encouragement for, and there you have it, yes, as Ren would say, for the announcement of our Summer Stage Season 2021. I am super grateful to even be able to put on live shows again. I'm so beyond emotional about it, and what a journey. We've all been on this journey through this pandemic, and we're still in it. We're still trying to figure out how to best move forward, but we're going to have a season, you know, and so everything went live yesterday on our website, all the shows. There's still a few more to be confirmed, but my dance show, my one event in Central Park is called Dance Is. That's right, because it is. And Rennie Harris and Pure Movement have graciously accepted my invitation to perform on this evening. It's a multi-artist bill with Complexions Contemporary Ballet, Abraham in Motion, Parsons Dance, Souls of Duende with guest artist Asha Griffith, a musical appearance by Madison McFerrin, Bobby's daughter, yes. So I'm really excited. I'm really proud. I also curated two shows in Coney Island, one of which is my longtime dear friend and disco legend, R&B legend, Gloria Gaynor, as well as Invincible, a glorious tribute to Michael Jackson, which will be on Michael Jackson's birthday on August 29th, produced and directed by Darren Ross, who is also in the room. All that to say, I'm really excited and thankful and happy that we're able to put this season forth. And I hope to see many of your faces. It will absolutely look different. And you will have to register for tickets, but they're free. But just the dates that it will go live for each show will be on the website. So just make sure you're following us on social media so that you don't miss out on anything. Okay, but to my guest, Rennie Harris. There's so much to say about Rennie Harris. I mean, I could go on for an hour talking about all his accomplishments, but I will try to scooch through his bio because he is just an amazing, stellar individual. Known for bringing social dances to the concert stage and coining the term street dance theater, Rennie Harris has broken new ground as one of the first hip-hop choreographers to set works on ballet-based companies such as Ballet Memphis, Colorado Ballet, Pennsylvania Ballet, Philadelphia Dance Company, my hometown, Philadelphia, whoop whoop, Giordano Dance Chicago, Lulu Washington Dance Theater, Cleo Parker Robinson, Dallas Black Dance Theater, Dayton Contemporary Dance Company, and the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. He was the first street dance hip hop choreographer to set an hour-length work on the Ailey Company, which is just epic. He has served as a resident artist at Alvin Ailey and the school. He has received 3 Bessie Awards, 5 Black Theatre Alvin Ailey Awards, a Herb Alpert Award, and nominated for a Laurence Olivier Award in the UK. In 2017, he received the coveted Dance Magazine's Living Legend Award and just recently received a Lifetime Achievement Award in Choreography, McCollum Theatre 2019. He was also voted one of the most influential people in the last 100 years. Come on, kids! Of Philadelphia's history by City Paper, and he's been compared to Basquiat, Bob Fosse, and Mr. Ailey himself. I mean, really? Really, Rennie? In addition, he's received a Guggenheim Fellowship, Pew Fellowship, a USA Artist of the Year Fellowship, a Governor's Artist of the Year Award, and is noted as the first street dancer to receive 2 honorary doctorate degrees from both Bates College and Columbia College in Chicago. Recently, Mr. Harris became a recipient of the Doris Duke Award, and he served as cultural ambassadors for Ronald Reagan's U.S. Embassy tour in '86, was invited to the White House by President Clinton to share in the recognition of African American artists making a difference in the world. His company has performed for such dignitaries as the Queen of England, okay, Miss Thing, and the Princess of Monaco, and was chosen as one of 4 U.S. companies to serve as cultural ambassadors for President Obama's Dance Motion USA and toured the Middle East, Israel, Jordan, Egypt, Palestine, and surrounding countries. Lorenzo Rennie Harris is atop the hip-hop heap and is leading ambassador. Well, come on now, my brother. Philly in the house. So let me get out of this photo and bring in Rennie right away. I mean, and he's here talking to me. So we go way, way back, and hopefully we'll get to some of that when he comes in. Yes. Technology, let's work. Let's see what happens. Uh-oh. There's a pause.
How's it going?
You knew I was nervous, right?
Oh, no.
So I'm gonna tell all you. So Rennie was texting me up until like 20 minutes ago, right? And I'm trying to put my makeup on for y'all, okay? So I don't scare y'all when I come on the screen. He's like, so I was able to go on Facebook. Is that good enough? I'm like, no. Rennie Harris, wait a minute. Let me turn the volume up. I need to hear everything you're saying. What's going on, bro?
Nothing much. I'm excited about, getting out of this pandemic situation.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, well, you look good. Your skin looks good. You're looking healthy.
Yes, it's that sun. Put a little bit of sun, fiddler, sun on my skin.
Well, let's talk about that for a second because, yes, we have all been in this awful pandemic. And, I mean, we talked a few days ago, whatever. But just tell everyone how you're doing and, how you've been dealing through all this year and change.
I think, like most people, it was kind of like dawn of the day when it first started. Like, what is going on? You see all the cats lined up getting guns and like going to, getting. I was like, oh, do I need to do this? So I was in my survival mode in the very beginning, and so in any case, I think we were on the road around March sometime. Darren Ross is with us, does a lot of the sound design for a lot of my work. I think we came from Portland, and I stopped over in LA. I have my 2 daughters are here, and just my other family, my uncle and what have you, some other folk, and without putting all that out there, I wind up staying for like almost a whole year, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm excited, to get back to work, to get into the studio really. I mean, I just been like in the in the lab, so to speak. And ironically, you know, God bless everyone who's had a problem. I have family members and folk connected to the family that passed away, who've gotten it, the whole nine. But it shut me down and put me into a whole other mode of creation. I feel like I hadn't been this creative for a long time. Because once in a while, you know, when you're on the road going, you're being creative, but it's not really being nurtured. But you have these ideas, but these
Right.
ideas are happening. And so this sat me down, and I was able to really kind of pull myself out of the gloom and doom and look at the idea that, you know, it's a lesson. At best case, I mean, it's a spiritual lesson, right? So like went to meditation, went into working out every day, dancing, because I hadn't, you know, I was taking little steps, do a little hip hop movement here, a little bit of hip hop movement there, and you know, worked up from 20 minutes a day to 30 minutes to, you know, now I'm doing 2 hours, and yeah,
Yes.
like just really like walking for 4 or 5 hours, miles a day. Really just reshifting and trying to figure it out, like trying to figure this food thing out. Like, you know, it's really interesting. You can do that as a dancer, you can get that. You know what to do physically. And you also know as you get older, how much more work you have to put in to do. It's the eating piece that you're
Yes.
so addicted to from the
Yeah.
moment, you know what I mean? So you're
Yeah.
fighting this history of like, and habit, right? How do we change that habit? And
Mhm.
so now I'm at that part,
Right.
you
No, I
know.
feel you. We talked about that the other day, and just trying to figure out what works. And for sure, for me, like stopping a lot of the drinking and wine. Wine is my vice.
Hmm.
But just really getting back more physical. And this year, I definitely slowed down on that tip. But I'm feeling getting back into it, walking around, not being afraid of stepping
Hmm.
outside my door. Catching this freaking disease and
Hmm.
feeling a bit better about that. So
Well,
I'm
yeah,
sure this
yeah.
slowed a lot of folks down.
It's the you know what's funny? It's the news, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I realized, like all my fear and anxiety in that moment for the 2 months that, like when it first kicked off, was coming from listening to the news. Like, oh, you know, and part of you feel like, well, I need to know what's going on, but the other part is like, as soon as you take that out of the equation, you're going to get back to your space. You know what I mean? I check in. I learned to check in. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we still here? Okay, the world's still moving around in a circle. We good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, we didn't blow up yet. So, and if
Right.
we, you know, and like we able to keep it moving. And once I got that fear out of my body, because that's the hard part, because that's the part that starts to eat at you, that
Mm-hmm.
emotion, right? That emotion in the body. And so once you
Mm.
get rid of that, you know,
Yeah.
that dis-ease that you're having in, like at that moment, like it dissipates and you're able to sort of like make a plan for yourself. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
But
we were
soon,
just
yeah.
piled on as a people. We're not only dealing with the pandemic, but we're dealing with all the other stuff. The daily racial stuff and all the we know what that is, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Well, see, that was the other thing. So now I'm sitting here and I'm like, like in my head, I wanted to be out there in the streets,
right.
being like 1990 Rennie. You know what I mean? Like out there, like with my
Right.
combat boots and my camouflage. And I
Mhm.
kept like, I'm gonna do it. You know. And but then I kept watching the news, going, they're running pretty fast, and at that time I can't even run. Yeah, you know, I'm
Right.
like, I'll be that calf in the back that get caught every time I try to run.
Right.
I'll have the biggest mouth out there, yo, you know, but be the
Right.
first one,
Okay,
to get, you know
right.
what I mean? I'll be the first one to get caught. And so I was just like,
Exactly.
what can I do to help, you know, the cause? And then part of it was like, take care of me. You know what I mean?
Right
Like
on.
that, you know, we often address problems as external problems of our body, right? Like the problem is us, how we think, our consciousness, our well-being, and all those things. If we can change that, if we can be in those perspectives and
Mhm.
really engage in that, each one of us will make a change, and reality will
That's
change. You
right.
know what I mean? And so
Hmm.
I realized, you know, I was like, all right, yeah, you know, but I had to be here, I had to pray, I had to do the meditations a day, you
Hmm.
know, 3 prayers a day, you
Hmm.
know, like just constantly chanting, and, you know, whatever your chant is, like doing your thing, you know what I mean? Just, you know, so that was like a focus, I think, a spiritual focus for me. And then the physical thing, you know, came into space, and I realized I started doing more. Like you know, a lot of people don't know this. Like for a year, I couldn't tie my shoes.
Right.
I couldn't bend down and tie my shoe on regular. Before it was in fashion, I was wearing no socks
Right.
because I couldn't put my socks on.
Right.
So I was staying
Okay,
cool and hip.
I was going to talk about this later on, but let's
Yeah,
just talk
right.
about it now
Yeah.
because listen, listen. Okay, not too many people know this. Oh, I'm about to give up some juice, but I have had both of my hips
Oh,
replaced.
wow. See.
I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
say it. I'm not ashamed of
Mm-hmm.
it,
Mm-hmm.
but in this field, in this youth-oriented culture that we live in, the minute you hear hip replacement, you're like, oh, she old. What's wrong with her? But the first one was due to my injury from Alvin Ailey, and then my hip just, I lost it.
Mm-hmm.
And then subsequently, the second hip went because of just all the compensating. So yes, kids, I am full metal jacket. Okay. So when Rennie talks about not being able to bend over and put his socks on or tie his shoes, I went through that for a number of years and also incredible pain. Not
Yeah.
being able to run and do the things hey, Karen, plot that did, shady.
Mm-hmm.
But all the things that you can do, especially as
Mm-hmm.
dancers.
Mm-hmm.
When you have been a physical person all your life and all of a sudden you're limited by, you can't put your shoes on? Are you kidding me? And just
Yeah,
what that
real.
does to you
Yeah.
psychologically.
Oh man, you're like shutting down so that you're fighting depression the whole time. So and most people don't like. I'd sit there, I'll sit down and I'd be like doing this or doing this. What's wrong? You okay? I'm like, no, I'm in constant pain 24/7, 7 days a week. Through sleeping, I'm in pain. I catch it maybe an hour and that pain hit me, bam, and I wake up and I'm
Right.
dealing with the pain
Right.
until daytime, till
Right.
daylight, And
Right.
so,
And let's
it's
not talk about trying to have
mhm.
sex.
Uh,
Wait,
well,
ready?
I have to say that actually helped
Oh, well, lucky you, man.
because you gotta work your hip. And part of it, I don't know if it's sadistic. Part you're like, I mean, you have to push yourself through. It's like this sweet and sour.
Oh my God. Well, I gotta tell you, I was so terrified. Now, see, we're really going there now because we know we get a long time.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
I was so terrified to get that first surgery. And I was dating someone at the time. And what really pushed me, because I never had any kind of surgery. I never stayed in the hospital before. And what really pushed me was because oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. My sexual activity was being disrupted. And I'm like, oh, hell no.
Yo, no, but see, people don't realize sex is healthy, right? I
Yeah.
mean, like you don't think about it when you're young. You're just going like, you just like going running around like
Right,
But
right.
then you realize it's the thing that keeps you like you're engaging the entire body, the
Yeah.
internal, the spirit, the heart, you know what I mean? Like you're going. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it was interesting, that whole part of it. You're like,
Yeah.
and then you like, well, nobody really wants you. I didn't gain weight. I can't, like your thing starts to like push you to a space where you don't even think that you want it. You know
Well,
what I mean? Right.
absolutely. And then for a woman, because as a brother, you can live and it can kind of be cool, right? You look, but as a woman, okay, I'm saying I'm living around these New York streets, and people are turning their head, thinking, "Oh, like all
That's
my
true,
goodness
because
away."
that's true. You know how many times people ask me, "Oh, I see you got that pimp walk." I was like, huh?
See,
I
a
was
woman
like,
can have a
and
pimple.
I play it off like, and then I had a student one time said to me, "Man, like you're Rennie Harris. You don't move fast for nobody, huh?" And I was like,
I can't.
Sir, don't believe the hype. Get out of the
Okay.
fantasy of like, hippity hop. Like I can't walk. I'm moving as slow
Okay.
as possible. You know what I mean?
Oh my
So
God. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and my students, they would know I had stations on across the campus of University of Colorado. I had stations where basically we called them Rennie stations because this is where I had to cross. My classes would be cross campus, and I
Wow.
had to walk there. I had half an hour to get there,
Yes.
right? And
Wow.
that was my lunch, right? So
Wow.
I had to eat, stop at my little station, sit down, relax, take some more steps to eat,
Oh wow.
and that was the thing. And then later, I was like, man, forget this. I bought an electric bike. So just imagine a bear on a tricycle.
Right.
That's me going across campus,
Right.
like
Now,
on
were
my
yours
on my.
from your dancing, or was it a genetic thing, or a combination of
It
both?
was a combination of both. My
Okay.
mom had what's the the curve is spine. The spine is curved.
Scoliosis.
Yeah, she had scoliosis. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she had a little bit of that, and she had really jacked up hips, where it was just really, really tight, and she suffered with that, up until she passed. I mean, it's probably one of the reasons, because she was just dealing with back issues and hip issues and the whole nine. And so apparently, I have the same thing. So I don't have scoliosis, but I still have this crazy. The first thing they said, this is genetic.
Yeah.
And then with the fact that with the dancing that I was putting on it and what I was doing, compound the whole thing.
Right.
And I was like, oh snap. And I also I thought my first, I'm hoogie moogie. So somebody said, well, like I'm afraid of flying. Like I'm superstitious. So if somebody said to me, this is for years, if someone says to me, all right, goodbye, man, have a safe flight, I would get upset, because I would think that why wouldn't I have a safe flight?
Right.
Don't say goodbye, I'll see you later.
Exactly.
Like all those things are triggers for me, where I should dream about the plane crashing 2 weeks before I would take the flight. I would, break out in sweats, and on the way to the airport, I used to carry the Bible with me. I was in one actual airplane crash. Well, not crash, it was a crash landing.
Oh wow.
Which was kind of almost hilarious, because it was surreal, right? The cats, and it was in LA. It was flying into LA, and dude said, we're gonna have to real calm. The flight, the pilots are like, he's like, yeah, we're gonna have to soak around and drop some of this fuel out, because our gear won't land, our gear won't open. So this is an official crash landing, and there's gonna be a little bit of sparks. And then he's like talking like that. I mean, literally, he's talking like smooth.
They have to, right?
My dumb ass, I said, what? We're gonna crash?
You said it out loud, Rennie.
Yes, I did. I did do it. I lied, because I'm drinking. I don't like to fly. I got my scotch or my whiskey, whatever. I start 4 o'clock in the morning drinking to get to the flight. Yeah. I just got to the point in the last 5 years to have one drink on the flight.
Wow.
But this has been all my life.
Wow.
From the time I started flying as a child.
Wow.
When I could drink,
Right.
But, and so I'm like, what? We're going to crash? And the steward is like, sir, calm down. Sir, calm down. I'm like, I'm just saying. He says sparks, so that means fire. Fire. Like, what are you like? I'm going now. Mind you, I'm still a little hoodish. So even like right now, how I'm talking is even worse, because she don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I'm going in like, bah, 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 bah. And the dude, God bless him, the white cat behind me, he said, oh, this is going to be amazing. We get to use the slides.
Oh my God.
I laughed. The whole cabin laughed so hard. It was the fun that calmed me down.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, and then it was like, okay, put your head between your legs, put your hands like this. So we're like this. Now I already know, because I'm afraid like that.
Yeah.
That's a tactic they use in order to people I know who are stewardess and what have you, who fly. That's a tactic they use to identify bodies. So it's easier if everyone's balled up into a little container to identify each body, versus everyone's sprawled all in pieces and limbs all over the place. Yeah. So it's not about being like you're gonna live.
Oh no.
No, it's just for identification. So you gotta understand, I know gears, I know all the shit. Like I do my like, so I'm down in shit like we about to die still. But he calmed me for the moment. I look up, we're going down. I look up, and you see the fire. This is real. Fire engines and lights, and they foam the whole air, the thing. Oh. We come down, like boom, we hit that thing, and that wheel came out a little bit, like one of the joints came out, so we didn't hit flat belly.
Yeah.
So we just like zzz, I was like, oh God.
Oh my God.
I took the train for 3 years.
I know that's right.
across country. Presenters was like, well, Rennie, I'm like,
Oh
no,
my
no,
God.
I'm not. Either you gonna buy me a sleeper train to cross this country, or I'm not coming. The company can go.
Wow.
I
Really,
ain't going.
seriously.
Oh no, it was real. Oh
No,
no,
I
it
mean,
was
I
real.
believe it because like,
Yeah.
look at Aretha
Hmm.
Franklin. She never flew. She was terrified of flying her
Yeah.
entire career.
Hmm.
So what was, I'm obviously you're who you are and they acquiesce, which is like, hello. But which is fierce, right? But what do you remember what was the first flight you resumed? Believe me, go back. How
It
would you
might
get
have
to New
been. It
York?
might have been. It might have been. No, it wasn't Roman Jules. That was 2000. I think I took the train to California
Wow.
to
Well, that's kind of
Theater
cool.
Arto. That
Pretty
was
cool.
two. Now here's the thing. The train is the shit.
Yeah.
The train. I saw the country in a way you would never see it
Mm.
in the car, bus, anything else. And I went from seasons. So I went from winter into like from of the East Coast, went around
Hmm.
like, and then went up into the West Coast and started getting to the hot weather. To
Right.
it was beautiful. They come on as a dude comes on halfway through around Chicago, but right before Chicago,
Hmm.
they do a story, it's a history thing about the
Hmm.
railroad. They tell you the whole
Hmm.
railroad and how the Chinese basically innovated that whole
Hmm.
link around, around that turn, that little bend you got to
Hmm.
go through before you get to Chicago. And I
Hmm.
was like, it was really, really, it was an observation car with, you know what I
Yes.
mean? And when
I've
I
always
found
wanted
out,
that.
and I found
What
out you
about
get your
what
own
about
room. I got my
yeah.
own room. The bed, the chair turned into a bed, just lay out, and
Yes.
you get a cat to be like, "Sir, would you like to have dinner tonight in your room?" Man, I felt like I was in 1930 in Madagascar.
Okay. But wait a minute.
It's
Were
like,
you not traveling overseas at this point?
that was the only exception.
Okay. Oh, so you
But
would. Okay.
I would go, but I was completely hammered.
Yeah.
Everyone
Oh
knew
my
it. Everyone,
gosh.
like, people would see me.
Wow.
Here's the crazy thing. Here's the thing. So someone apparently somebody was going to hire me to do something in the company, and it was like, oh no, this rumor got out that I was on drugs.
Oh
Now I
no.
can't do drugs. I just it just doesn't. I tried to smoke some weed, and that's a whole nother story.
Hmm.
Like I hallucinate, like this regular fucking 1970 weed, right?
Wow.
So, but that was 100 years ago. I can't really do it. However, I can drink. And so, so I was just plastered. Anytime you saw me, if I ran into Ailey, I ran into a lot of people in the airport.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm tore up from the floor up,
Oh
right?
my
I got
God.
my locks, I have my beard. I'm like, so it got so this rumor came out that I was on drugs. Like, no, I wasn't on drugs. I was
No.
drunk. I was drunk. I
Oh
was
no.
what? No, no. I hit that bar, sister. I had all my flasks. I had all my stuff. Like it was serious. And here's the crazy part. I'm also not a pill taker. So
Mm,
hence my pain was when I had my hip
oh,
was
right.
right. I didn't take the pills. And
Not even like
so
Advil or like.
well, it once when I got to the native tier,
Mm,
back in the day, and when they had the commercials, I guess it was a PSA, like
hmm.
the native cat was standing there, and somebody threw some trash in there, and he turns around, he
Right.
has one tear in his eye. When I had that one tear, it was so hard that it was so hurt me. I take Motrin, but then I
Yeah.
would take. But here's the thing, I would take like 12 of them
Oh my
because
God. At
I knew
once?
no throughout
Oh.
the day, 12 of the
Okay.
day.
Yeah.
That's the limit, right? Because I was
Yeah.
going on Canada standards. I wasn't going US standards, which is like 3 or 4, something like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So anyway, that was for emergency. Other than that,
Yeah.
I just drank for the pain.
Oh
I would
wow.
drink for the pain. Yeah. So hence here comes all the weight keeps coming on now, right?
Right.
He's piling on, right? So yeah, I would go overseas. I would just get hammered, and some of the dancers didn't get it. Some were like, "Oh my God, how could you be drinking so early in the morning?" It'd be like 7, 6. I'm like, sister,
Wow.
look, when
Yeah.
that plane take off, it was so bad. The dancers didn't want to sit next to me.
Oh.
Yeah, well, yeah, they were like, "No, I'm good with Rennie. Where you
Yeah.
sit?
Right.
Where you sitting, Rennie?"
Can I change my seat?
Right. So, but now I'm good. I'm good. I have my little one. I time it right.
Yeah.
I get my head right. I get my meditation right. I get,
Yes.
um, and
Well, that just went a
it's
whole place I wasn't expecting, which I love though. I love like this sort of open floor like this. And but I love that you've been so open about your journey with your hips because you just posted, it was like 2 weeks ago, you dancing. And I remember
mm,
everybody's like, get it ready, get it.
mm,
It's so
yeah,
wonderful to see it.
it just, I couldn't imagine not dancing. It was sad, 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 sad. The fact that,
Mm,
I could possibly not dance ever again, or I could,
mm,
I was legally disabled.
right.
Yeah, I was taking.
Yeah.
People don't even know. I have a few videos of me in the wheelchair, like because I couldn't walk to the gate.
Oh,
I had to take a wheelchair. No,
wow.
yeah. Interesting thing was, everyone thought I was a football player.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean,
I
look
was like,
at
yeah, that's right. That's right, yeah. And it must be odd to see somebody my size and be like, you do what?
you.
You're a
Yeah,
dancer?
right.
Yeah, correct.
Well, I mean, I
So,
want to get to that, but I mean, thank you for
mm,
sharing all of
mm,
that. And, folks out here that need the surgery, have access to healthcare, get it because it really is life changing. I have a close friend of mine that just had her hip replaced. And, it's like instantly you're out of that pain. And hopefully you have a good doctor that does it, a good job. But I really
mm,
want to go back to, you said 1990, Rennie, but I want to go back even further to little Rennie. And I'm always so fascinated by people's childhoods, right? And like
mm,
growing up in North Philadelphia, I grew up in Southwest Philly, but you're North
mm.
Philadelphia. What streets, what was the home like?
18th and Master, 19th and
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson, 18th and Thompson, in between the Morocco's territory a little bit in the Cyber Street gang.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, right, not too far from Columbia Avenue. All that's all my rock out spot.
Mm-hmm.
What's the thing? The playground. I forgot. I can't believe. Not Charlottesville. I guess it might
Mm-hmm.
be Charlottesville probably playground. But yeah, all up through there,
Yeah.
from Spring Garden
Yeah.
all the way up to about Lehigh. It was
Right.
like I lived at some point.
Yeah. And both parents in the home the whole time?
No, no. One, my mom raised us.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really know my pop.
Mm.
Um, but it was six boys, one girl.
What? And where do you
Yeah,
fall in that line?
I'm the oldest.
You're the
So,
oldest?
hmm yeah.
Oh,
There was, yeah, yeah. That's a whole other story. But I
yeah,
mean, a
sure.
lot of them were, you know, they get down. So
Mhm.
they get down. So they like most of the time they're like, yeah, but your older brother's a dancer. Like what I mean. Like so, I was hurting their street cred a lot. So like
Mhm.
what I mean. But I had already went through all that. I'm
Mhm.
way older. You know what I mean. So I had went through most of all of that stuff. You know what I
Mhm.
mean. So I wasn't even in the hood by the time they were growing up. You know what I mean.
Right, right,
I
right.
was traveling and doing
That's
stuff.
right. You were inspired by the Carol Burnett show or a dancer on the Carol Burnett show?
Don Campbell, rest in peace. Don Campbell,
Yes.
yeah, he created Campbell locking. Like
Right.
that was the first dancer, like street dancer I ever saw. You know what I mean? And it turns out he set the precedent in 1970, 1968, 1970, as a street dancer. Like he
Mhm.
opened up for Frank Sinatra. His
Mm.
his group his group, the Campbell Lockers, played at Carnegie Hall. They also hosted the Grammys.
What?
And they had a cartoon television show that came on Saturdays.
I gotta go back and do my
Oh
research.
yeah, like he's no street dance company, not a one in my knowledge that I know of in the globe has reached the height that
Mm.
this man's crew, his group has reached. And it was like
Mhm.
they set the precedent for everybody,
And
that
where was he out of? Where was he born?
He out L.A.
LA.
Yeah, I mean, Soul
Wow.
Train. Most people may know some of the like rerun from What's Happening. He
Yeah.
was one of the babies of the Campbell Lockers,
Mm-hmm.
but they set the precedent for everybody. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So as far as like how the success, what to reach for as a street dance
Mm-hmm.
crew or a
Mm-hmm.
group or a company, and how that sort of management and focus has to happen in order to reach that height. Even
Mm-hmm.
like these crews, so you think you can dance and all that stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
nobody's touching that.
Right.
Nobody. I don't care how many followers. These cats and Tony Basil, one young lady, changed the history and the course of Black folk and people around this
Yeah.
country. And
Yeah.
some of that stuff they came to Philly and got clothes from Philly. They got their
Mm.
hats off of South Street. They got
Oh,
their
okay.
shoes, their platform shoes. They came on
Mm-hmm.
New York, got some of the salsa steps out of there. You know what I mean? Now
Mm-hmm.
this was told to me by Greg Campbell Jr. Pope, rest in peace,
Mm-hmm.
and also I'm sorry, and
Mm-hmm.
also Don Campbell, the creator,
Mm-hmm.
also told me the same thing. So I'm just repeating what they told me. You know what I mean? I'm like, what?
Wow.
They're like, yeah, Philly, yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's up,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So you
So
started grooving, popping and grooving and carrying on in like in house parties, block parties. You
just
felt
like how most of us block parties that in my backyard we make up a little steps and stuff like that. And then I think my first contest it was like at the church bazaar.
right.
They had these thing called these bazaars, and you would go shop or whatever. And there was a
And
dance
you knew you had
contest.
it. You were hooked.
Me and my brother Levi Brainy, aka Nafis, rest in peace, and my other brother Billy William. We call him Dollar Bill. Very original. And so we had our little suspenders, and my mom. I
Yes.
convinced my mom to take us downtown to like 30 Market, and we got the white gloves.
Yeah. Was
Man,
this your group, the Scanners?
we shut that thing down. Like the rope. This was the no Cobra. We call
Oh,
I
Cobra.
don't
Okay.
yeah Cobra 3 or and then after that I started learning GQ
Mm-hmm.
from Franklin Stewart, aka Money.
Mm.
He taught me GQ, and then because his older brother I believe taught him Greg, and then we formed a group. He was the captain. I believe I was the co-captain. I don't know if I
Mm-hmm.
remember that correctly. Um, we had Daryl. You had Daryl. We had his name was Foots. We had another cat named Pretty Boy.
Mm.
Eric, who joined last, and I was the Stepmasters. And we, and as you know, or you may know, GQ is an old street dance from Philly from the
Mm.
'60s, and
Okay.
so we were still doing it in the '70s. We were the like last part of that era, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And you had people like the franchise who still, Ronnie Ron, shout out to him, who still can do it, still
It's
get bringing
awesome.
it. So yeah, so we had our own. Philly had its own thing. We never saw. I remember in '79 maybe this cat down American Street, I think, when I used to hang out down there, like doing a head spin in the cipher
Mm.
somewhere, and we all like looked at him like, man, get that out of here. Like spinning on your head. Who ever heard of that? Little did we know some years
Right.
later, right? Yeah. So yeah,
That's
that's what was
crazy.
happening in North Philly, man. We were just going block party, and the Scanner Boys came around in 80, 81. I started popping, and we were just everyone thought we were from their part of town. So, but they thought we were from South Philly, Southwest, but they didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize it was 15 of us strong. Most people thought we were a gang. We kind of moved like a gang at the time,
Right.
and we had our little colors on with our Black Power fists and stuff like that. We would
Yes.
walk through the neighborhoods, and we would walk to
Oh,
other neighborhoods and battle, and then figure out how we're gonna get out later. So
right.
yeah. I mean, that was street dance back then. You just didn't go in. Like when I moved to New York, I was in the Bronx, and me and another cat, Shalimar from Philly, we battling in some place. I don't know where we were. We just somehow we followed somebody, went to the Bronx. We're battling, and they saw us dance, and they said, "Yo, y'all from California?" It's like, "No, we from Philly."
Mm-hmm.
I had never claimed, and I don't care if I live anywhere for 100 years. I'm never from that place. I'm from Philly.
Absolutely.
So, and so, so the dude was like, Philly? Where the fuck is Philly? It was
Mm.
like, yo, like, what's good? Man, it seemed like the whole party. They surrounded us and just everybody pulled out gats. They had their gats like this on the side. Like, and then the guy was like, you gonna battle all. He said, you gonna battle. Y'all gonna battle all of us, or you ain't gonna make it out of here.
No.
Man, I didn't even miss a beat. I was like, word.
I said, that's right. Come,
Let's
come.
go, because we thought, y'all whack. We always thought New York poppers was whack. We
Oh,
didn't like this. We didn't like this style anyway at the time. We're like, get out of here. I don't remember how we made out, but we didn't get shot that night, so I'm sure we got
oh.
out good. Yeah, we got out. That was the thing with street dancing. They always will lead, like, there was a mixture of this hip hop culture and this gang culture that was happening that people didn't
Mm.
know about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are two different things. So when you heard about violence, that's gang culture. That's completely different
Mm-hmm.
than what hip hop culture was in the beginning
Yeah.
when we were, you know what I mean? And now, so they try to fuse this thing to make it an outlaw thing. Outlaws were outlaws. They
Right.
weren't, if you were from a gang, you were from a gang. It had nothing to do with hip
Right.
hop. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
were like, when they were saying throw your hands in the air, waving like you just don't care, people were still shooting. They had nothing to do with what was being said.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. And so coming out of Philly though, you're starting your groups and you're traveling around and now you're starting to get work. And then now are you but wait, and then you had a whole MC moment. Like tell me about
Hmm?
performing and rapping and that.
Oh, that was brief. Girl,
How brief, Rennie?
I rap sandwiches. I'm the best at that. Yeah, that was brief. But
Okay.
I was Darren Ross, and Darren D. Ross was recording that. Like I was like,
Okay.
I'm a street dancer, romancer. Try to battle me is like battling cancer. You just die. I don't know why.
Oh my
You know,
God.
like. And then what happened? You know what happened? You know what took the steam out of that aspiration? MC Hammer.
Oh really? Wow, how?
Everybody was calling me, Rennie, you can't beat MC Hammer. You can't beat
Oh
MC Hammer.
no.
I was just like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I
There
was like,
goes
man,
that.
forget that. Yeah, because I thought I was novel. I was like, I was rapping and I was dancing. And you know what I
Right.
mean? Clearly I
Right.
wasn't. So,
So speaking of so you start choreographing for people, we realized the other day that we have
yo,
two
Eddie,
legends in common, which is Kathy Sledge of Sister
mm,
Sledge
yeah,
and Gloria Gaynor. So you were
hmm
working with both of them as a backing dancer and slash choreographer prior to starting your company?
I, it was all happening around the same time. It was
Mm-hmm.
happening around the same time. So, thanks for the, yeah, somebody said I got bars. Word, that's what's up.
Oh, that's
Uh,
Monique.
that's
Smart.
one thing. Ha, nice. Um, so yeah, what happened? I was moving, like Rennie Harris movement was taking off, and my man C Note, Reverend C Note,
You
he was,
know.
he was one of the Scanner boys, and he was getting into choreography and doing stuff. And I think he was choreographing for Kathy and asked me to stand in to take his spot. That's something he couldn't do, and
Mm-hmm.
somehow I wind up doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I danced for her for a while with Jose, which is hilarious. Jose, I miss Jose. I don't even know where he
Jose.
is right now. Jose, that's the dude right there. But
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so I danced with her for a while, for a minute, and then I danced. I opened for Gloria Gaynor.
Mm-hmm.
We opened for her and the Tramps.
It's your man.
Burn, baby, burn. Just don't burn, oh, burn,
When
baby,
you guys
burn.
were opening, was that you and who opening for these folks?
It was I feel like the Gloria Gaynor Tramps might have been the Scanner Boys.
Okay.
And by the time I did Kathy, I was solo. I did hip hop dance, but I would do. I didn't do that much backup dancing for hip hop because I didn't. I was like, man, we were street dancers, and back in the day, the street dance group was the open. We were the opening act. So if you
Right.
saw us, you come to see. Let me see. Salt and Pepper were called Supernature.
Mm-hmm.
We open for them.
Oh
It like,
wow.
all right, here come Scanner Boys. We come out, we open, boom.
Kill
Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5 at the Dell. We open up for them. We open
at
up for
the
Dougie
day.
Fresh. You know what I mean? We're like, we open up for these. And so it shifted when hip hop came into play, hip hop dancing, like, because that was party social dances. Everybody could do it. No
Mm-hmm.
one thought of it in this sort of performative way. And so
Got you.
what happened is you got the crew that's 1,500, not 1,500, 15 deep or 10 deep, maybe
Mm-hmm.
seven, right? When you have a crew, which is might be poppers and lockers and breakers, right? Now, hip hop is coming as two people. So economically, it worked for the artist.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because now you paying us like $500-700 a night
Right,
each.
right,
You know
right.
what I mean? To get down, and you got 10 people. That's 7 G's. That's
Exactly.
like we getting what Run DMC and Run DMC.
Mm-hmm.
They were getting at the time. They were making 30. I remember because he was bragging about it, and that's why I remember we were on tour with Run DMC, and then
Mm.
and Run was like, "Yeah, we get 3,500 a show, son." Like he's like going off, and we're all little. We're like, "Oh wow, they making that much money? Oh my
Right there.
God, they're getting 3,500 a show." You
Okay.
know, yeah. So like that was like some memorable moments. Like I saw AJ. We were on the tour bus. AJ, Fat Boys, Curtis Blow, and I feel like it was Houdini.
Mm.
We all watched them freestyle battle each other.
Oh, amazing.
No one else saw it but us. And
Oh
we
my
and
God,
we us
amazing.
lowly dancers were sitting in the back like,
Oh, that's
yo, this is
everything.
crazy. You know what I mean? Like
Wow.
we watched them battle each other. We're like, yo.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so those are kind of moments like that was massive. We were doing that. I was doing this throughout high school. You
Right.
know, West Street Mob. I would perform on the weekends when I could. When I wasn't studying to be a priest at one time, I was any weekend I
I
was free.
remember that. I
Yeah.
remember you telling me
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
So
I remember meeting you. It was you had a studio or a rehearsal space near South Street,
Fourth
right?
and South
That's right. I remember
on
being
Fourth
young,
Street. Yeah.
Vince
Mhm.
with Danko, and
Mhm.
somehow wandered over there. Maybe it was Zane or somebody, and just like hanging
Mhm.
out and watching you guys rehearse. But I
Mhm.
really want to get to your philosophy of pure movement and why that
Mhm.
name.
Well, one, it was vanity.
Right, right,
Well,
right.
what happened was I draw, I doodle. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was also going to be an artist. I
Mm-hmm.
used to draw, and so I was doing this sort of graffiti piece that said, I was doing like bubble letters, and I wrote Rennie Harris is pure movement. And when we got hired to do Movement Theater International in 1991,
Mm.
he specifically said to me, "I'm gonna give you this money, but do not use the Scanner Boys." Because he had followed us. When we were working for the city by this time. You know, anytime a
Mm-hmm.
city event happened, they called us. You know, like anytime folk life center, the folklore center, all those cats.
Right.
And so, um, what I did was we did our premiere right at Movement Theater International, 1991. The last piece I called Pure Movement. I
Mm-hmm.
used the Scanner Boys, and it was pretty.
Mm-hmm.
The next year we disbanded in '92, but '91 I used them as the last piece, and I called it Pure Movement because I always thought street dance was the purest movement of it all. You could create something, and if it's dope, it's dope. No one can deny that it's dope. And
Yes.
so therefore I felt like street dance is the purest movement. So that's why I used the word pure movement. And what I realized when I was looking at my sketchbook and I saw Rennie Harris is pure movement. The last two letters of last name, Harris, is IS. So I was like, oh shit, Rennie Harris, pure movement. So
Yes.
it's kind of like this play about my thinking, me, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the second part to it was, I forget who told me this, but this was the best thing they ever told me. They said that I've learned in this game, and this person was a guy. He said, "Randy, you need to put your name on your company
Mm.
because they can never, if the company defunks and you do all this work, people will always remember your name." And
Ooh,
I was
really?
like, when he said that, and that's why I added Rennie Harris Pure Movement. I was
Yes.
like, because up until that point in the Scanner Boys, I was the tall guy.
Right.
I was a tall guy in the Scanner Boys.
Yeah, that's
My
it.
nickname, I had 100 nicknames. A lot of my nicknames didn't even stick.
Wow.
Everyone just called me Rennie. My neighborhood called me Riz or Rizzo.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
And he told you that is this person still around?
I don't think so. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if this guy called himself, he was an older guy. I think it might be the guy he may have, he took us to the ballet. We had
Mm.
won some dance contest. Everybody at the end of the day always thought like let's just show you real dance. You know
Right.
what I mean? And so
Right.
even the priest, when I was at the thing, the priest said to Lorenzo, "You're a good dancer." And let's take you, because I used to do pantomime too. Like I trained in pantomime
Mm-hmm.
at very young, and
Mm-hmm.
as a way to make extra money with the church. So
Mm-hmm.
we would act out the sower and the seed and
Right, right.
the parable son, you know. So I'm doing pantomime, full white face in the hood. Like how embarrassed I am. Am I? Because they know it's me. They know I'm already. Oh, this pretty motherfucker. They're already like coming at me thinking I'm, challenge my manhood. Like, oh, he's gay because he dances. All that
Uh,
shit, right? And so I'm trying to hide. I'm thinking I'm hiding. They're like, that's Lorenzo. I'm like, oh
right.
God, right? So anyway, um, oh shit, I just lost my train of thought. But pantomime
It's okay.
was my jam, and it kind of
Yeah.
influenced everything that I did from that moment on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so you start your company, and now clearly you're about to have a 30th anniversary in 2022, right? Did you
Hmm.
ever did you ever think it would last even this long?
No,
Right?
I didn't think. All I knew was that I was gonna put my head down. There's one thing I learned. I just from my mom actually, because my mom was a worker.
Mm.
She had 20 jobs, right? You
Mm.
know what I mean? So my mom it was just, every Saturday clean, when you had our chores, everything was like very disciplined in
Mm-hmm.
that way. At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it was chaotic, but but we had a lot of discipline. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just put my head down, man. Don't look left, don't look right. I just want to go where I'm going and know and look at that finish line, because once I look left, I lost sight of where I'm going. As soon as I
Mm.
look right, I lose sight. And you lose sight, that's the problem. As soon as you stop to have some conversation and tell somebody about themselves over here, you just lost sight. As soon as you
Right.
start saying something negative about this person, you just lost sight.
Right.
You lost sight of you and what you're doing. They can knock you off
Mm.
your
Come
thing.
on.
I learned that early. I did a job. I got hired and didn't get paid money and made them write me a contract anyway.
Right. Right.
Yep, like you're gonna have potato chips, we're gonna have soda. Like I was young. I started doing contracts and understood like the power of these perks
Yes.
and these, who's gonna be there? Is the press gonna be there? Is the, you know,
Good for
but
you. You're ready.
I don't think about the time of it. I just like
Mhm.
I go and I keep going until I can't go
Right.
anymore. And so I looked up and it's 30 years. You know what
Wow.
I
And
mean?
so as we all of us though, a lot of us watching, I'm sure, Roman Jules. Roman Jules. So is that the piece
Mm.
that really blew you up, blew you out there?
And back then I'd be like, nah, this is whack. I was like, because I felt I was doing better stuff, but I was young. And so apparently, yes, it was the piece. I started writing that idea in 1996.
Mm-hmm.
And matter of fact, I think Max Pollock just got on. What's up, Max?
Oh
I
yeah.
at this point in 97, I think around this time we began to dance together, me and Max, with a cool heat urban beat at some point. So I'm writing this thing during that, and this is Roman Jules, and I was writing it as, not with words or anything, but just like a West Side Story version. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I created this title. Roman Jules was a play on hip hop. Basically, I was making fun at the hip hop community. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, because Rome is short for roaming, Jewels
Mm-hmm.
is short for jewelry. So we're always searching for jewelry. We're searching for the Holy Grail all the time. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like even the opening line goes, Big and Pac roam for jewels, but don't we all? But we're in nobody until we're a mural on somebody's wall. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the opening line to it. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
so the whole like I started writing this thing in 96, 97. Laura Forrest saw it from Bates. She saw it. She was looking over my door was open when we were there practicing with Cool Heat Urban Beat. She walked in the door. She was going to visit someone else in the hotel. She saw me and she said, "Hey, Rennie, hey." She said, "What you working on?" And she's like, "I'm like, yeah, working on this thing." She's like, "Oh my God, this is great. Send that to me." I send it to her. She hooked me up with Ann and Kathy from MAP. God bless them. Um, we did it at Charleston, a festival in Charleston. I forget the name of it. We did
Mm-hmm.
it there. We did a little small. We did it there, but the first time we did was Mark Murphy in Seattle. He got the
Mm.
first version, the 45-minute workshop version.
Wow.
It doesn't premiere to like 99, 2000, 2001. It
Right.
was right. It's premiering years, and it
Yeah.
toured forever,
Forever.
forever.
It's brilliant. Come on.
Boy George came to the show. Gwyneth Paltrow. Michael Jackson, like all these
Are
folk
you
came out.
serious?
Yeah, Michael Jackson had on. Matter of fact, and Darren Ross was there for that too. What's up, Rod? Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson had on a Arab garb. Yeah,
Oh my
like
God.
like a chic. And Darren was talking to me. He said we're at the doing the sound and in the audience. You know how they hold them seats for you, right? So we're looking, and so Darren goes, "Don't look now, but Michael Jackson is over there." And I'm like, "What?" And of course I go like this,
Of course.
and he's sitting next to Debbie Allen. And so I knew that was a confirmation. I'm like, and then he looked weird as mud. Like, who is this cat? Why is a chic with sunglasses on? So anyway, so yeah, Roma Jules was the thing. Roma
Wow.
Jules pushed
So
it.
I'm sorry. You
Hmm
are from North Philadelphia, single mom, working hard, 7 kids in these streets. Now you're performing in front of folks like this. What goes through your mind? Are you like, I've arrived, I've made it, or do you feel like I gotta work hard? I'm from Philly.
I'm pissed off.
Why are you pissed?
I never wanted it.
Really?
I never wanted it. I never
Oh,
tried to
tell
be
me
in it.
about that.
I never tried to be a choreographer. I didn't want to choreograph. I
Mm.
thought the people and the presenters, everybody was like, they were like pimps to me.
Ah,
They had that kind of
I
talk, you know what I mean?
yeah,
They tried to work us hard because
yeah.
some other modern group did all this work. Now they expected us to do this work. We had
Mm-hmm.
contracts that said standard, and clearly we weren't a standard artist. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like it was like really things like I'm reading the contract. No, I'm not doing that. No, you can't own this forever. They're
Mm-hmm.
still doing it. There's people, without saying names, who call me and say, "Hey, it's like in perpetuity." I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's not
Yeah, no.
forever. You don't get to
Yeah.
own no." And
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And so I was really jaded because I thought I had what I did think was I came out of in the hip hop world, commercial world, we used to have to rumble like to get our money at the end.
Mm.
I remember Rick Rubin being right around the corner, or we were in the manager, the cat that had the money. We're right, me, the dynamic breakers from New York. We giving it to this cat, like yo, we need to get paid. And
Right.
so I came from that thinking that this was different,
Mm.
and then I realized it was Iceberg Slim.
Oh, see.
It was
Wow.
Iceberg Slim, and so now that I understand, it's now that I know, it's easier for me to navigate. Like I
Mm-hmm.
went to the library before that had ever been a internet, right? To learn who Isadora Duncan, Hedda Shawn, Dennis Shawn, Maria Taglione, all that stuff. I read those books.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Morris, Mark Taylor, whoever was doing Mark Dendy, whoever was hot at the time, I was like reading, you know, because I knew I was going to be in these circles.
Mm.
I
Say that
knew
again.
I knew I was going to be in these circles, and it paid. What happened was I had a person walk up to me and say to me, it was for Mark Morris, I believe, or I can't remember. It was either one, and I was at some reception, trying to do the thing. I'm not a good smoothie. I don't talk to people because I still am shy for the most part, but unless I'm on like this, right? And so she walked, older white woman. She walked up to me and said, "You don't have to pretend you know who he is. It's okay." And I
Mm.
looked at her and I was like, "Well, actually, I do know who he is." And
Okay.
I ran his history down. Blah 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 blah. I said, "Do you know who Boogaloo Sam is?"
Ooh,
And I walked away.
thank you.
It was my soap opera moment. I just didn't have
Yes.
a I didn't have a drink in my hand. I wish I did. I wanted to be like, yeah, man. Like, yo, those cats are out there. You know what I mean? Like, people are out there and they
Yeah.
say, and then they make stories up about you. That's the
Mm-hmm.
craziest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where, I used to hold presenters back in the day. I would hold them accountable. Like I made a log. I had my staff at the time.
Mm-hmm.
We live in large. We got an office. I got 15 people working for
Yeah.
me in the office. And I said, listen, write down every time you call them and write down every time they call you back. And that's part of your job is to
Mm-hmm.
log how you're communicating. And so when I look at the log, I noticed we're doing all the calling and no one's calling them back, right? And we've already got the contract,
Mm-hmm.
but no one's like getting back to us about the press kits, all this, that, another thing. So
Mm.
I call them out on it, and they pretend like they don't know what we're talking about.
What?
Mm-hmm. This is back in the day. I
Wow.
don't really have that kind of problem now, but when we got started, they were like, oh well, no, no, no. We called you this time, this time, this time, this time, this time.
Yeah.
I told everybody that works for me, especially now today, and then my dancers know this too. You're gonna get a phone call, you're gonna get a message, you're gonna get a text message, and you're gonna get an email. There's no way that you're gonna not know that we communicated with you.
Come on, not these
Right.
days. Stop it.
Yeah. And we did that back then, right?
Yeah.
With email and phone call and message,
Well,
because I kept the records.
yeah, and
So,
this journey I've been on as a presenter since, 2007. So guys, we've hey Violet, this
oh,
conversation
Miley.
is awesome. I haven't even stopped to say welcome again. If you're just joining us, I'm talking with the
Mm-hmm.
legendary Rennie Harris, my Philadelphia
Mm-hmm.
brother. And Rennie honored me I was still young in my presenting career, like super young in my presenting career, 2008. And I presented
Mm-hmm.
Rennie at Central Park Summer Stage. And oh wait, I have a Gian Corliss actually reviewed that show.
Oh,
And
wow.
we've had a hot and cold relationship
Mm-hmm.
since, but whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
going into as a presenter and coming, I guess, from an artist perspective of respecting the artists and making sure, people get paid when they're supposed to get paid, or, it's obviously been a learning curve. I'm still learning stuff, right? But just respect the artists, respect what
Mm-hmm.
image you put out
Yeah.
there,
Mm-hmm.
respect how you talk
And
about them.
it's
I
like
paid them on time.
right, exactly. And I always feel like I did the work, I need to get paid now. Like I don't like want to wait 2 months, 3 months.
No,
Like if I and so you get it, I get it, But I hope, and this with my dancers, some of them are on and they can speak for themselves, of course. But I hope that I'm not treating them that way. Like I support passion fruit, you know.
yes, passion fruit.
I support finance. I support, Kai Supreme. I support Jip the Ruler. I support Rodney Hill. Anything that they're doing, they know they got my support. I
Yeah.
support Forest Full Circle. They can call me anytime. Like that's my
Yes.
people. I rock out with them. Pop Master Fable. All those cats. I'm in
Yes.
conversation. Versa Style. I'm in conversation with them. If anybody have a problem with anything, or no Buddha Stretch or Yuko Snow Bunny, like anybody has a problem, if I had that experience, I'm going to tell it to them. Munsell Durden, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, why not? B-boy, why not? Like anybody knows that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be loving, and I'm going to be fair. At least I think I am. And I'm going to be as fair as possible. Most
Yes.
people don't realize sometimes being fair doesn't work on their behalf, right?
Right. Right.
However, there are no more options.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so, okay, like lesson learned, a great
Yeah.
lesson. Congratulations. That was my new thing I learned, to say congratulations on all failures. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I failed today. Yes, because
Yeah.
I got a
I
great
think what's
lesson
worked for
today.
me is just being honest. Like, look, I can say, we worked a couple of months ago, this digital stuff, and I was honest about what I could and couldn't do. And
Mm-hmm.
you can say yes or no. And that's what it is. And no harm, no foul. But I want to be
Mm-hmm.
transparent. Like even coming into this season with Summer Stage, right? I have to be straight up about what the venue is going to look like. It's not going to
Mm-hmm.
be what we've seen the last
And
2 years. It's
it
going to be
just
our
so
mama stage. It's going to be
mm-hmm.
tense backstage.
Right.
And you
Mm-hmm.
can say yes or no, but at least up front, I've given you all the information. So I would
Mm-hmm.
never want anybody to go, after the show and say, well, she didn't tell us this, and she sold me a bill of goods, and
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I just,
Mm-hmm.
because even
Well, and
myself.
but it starts with your people, and I wanted to just shout out Just Soul, Donita
Yeah,
and Kyle, you know what I mean, Urban Movement in Philly, like all the cast, everybody's moving forward. It's about support. Lee Jones is on here, like as a matter of fact, we're gonna do one of your mixes, brother.
yes, Leo. I'll see you in
So
Philly in a month.
but you know what I mean, like it's about here's the thing. I am not afraid. I have no fear anymore. I didn't have for a long time. I just do not have the fear of losing. That's the difference.
Mm.
I don't have, so you starting your company and you're going to do this same thing or whatever, great. How can I help you? Like I have no, because I know the way you think different than me, that your thing is going to be different. No
That's
matter, you know what I mean?
right.
And so I'm not tripping about whether you're doing this and doing that because there's enough room for everybody. That
Thank
was one of
you.
the biggest things that, let me say, the infamous they have convinced people of scarcity, right?
Mm,
No, there's enough. We have GM, we make food right now, and
yeah.
we still have people starving.
Mm,
Like, you know what I mean? Like, not to say they should eat that, but I'm just saying,
I know.
you know, like from the gate, the intentions of
Yeah.
we're gonna make some food and we can take care of starving people, cultures and people and groups and all that stuff.
Hmm.
No,
Yeah.
there's no scarcity.
There's
People
no.
keep believing. Yeah, they keep to see what happened with the toilet paper. I didn't even get the toilet paper in doggone pandemic. How about get a rag and rinse that motherfucker out, like, and just use old school style? What's wrong with a rag? We
And
used to,
what is
when we were younger, we used to have a wash rag and a butt rag for your butt.
and
Toilet
see? Okay,
paper.
ladies and gentlemen, this conversation is over.
I'm sorry, yeah, you were gonna change it, but
No,
I'm
no, no.
just
I love
saying.
it. This is awesome.
But I'm just saying, like, we are so
Come on,
not
butt
woke.
rag.
Everyone, like, they woke when it's like, oh yeah, yeah, we're gonna fight them. When this person dies, they sacrifice their lives, and now we woke.
Yeah.
The fight is not physical. The fight is economical.
Yes.
That's it. Cross board.
That's it.
Stop buying Starbucks for 10 minutes across board. We shut the whole thing down.
Yeah. Right.
But until we're ready to have that conversation, until we're ready to move like that, you know what I mean? Because when we think about the OGs, that's what the OGs did. They didn't just
Yeah.
march. They shut down economics. They were like,
Yep.
oh no. And those people went to Washington, was like, hey, we need to have their business. We need to do something.
That's
Because
it.
they're no longer coming to our restaurants. They're
That's right.
no longer coming to our theaters. They're no
Because that's
longer,
all they listen to is money. That's all they think about. That's all that matters
that's
is
the
money.
God. That is the God. And so until we wake up and stop having these emotional conversations, like, we are emotionally undeveloped.
Mm.
And we are emotionally undeveloped on purpose. We're not
Mm.
taught financial literacy. We're not taught spirituality. And I'm not talking about religion.
No,
I
no,
mean, I'm
I
talking
know.
about humanity, right? That sense, right?
Yes.
That we all know the good and what's good and what's wrong and all those things.
Right.
We're not taught how to deal with those things individually. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And so therefore we are all asleep. We're still asleep. Everybody thinks they're woke. I don't believe that we're woke. We have some sunlight is getting in a little bit here and there. But the truth is, when we're ready
Yeah.
to get with that money,
Yeah.
you'll see a change. Stop buying.
Okay. Yeah.
Look.
That comes up a lot week to week. Just that financial wherewithal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I had a
Mm-hmm.
sister on who dances with Kyle Abraham. You know, she wants to do classes for young people, young artists especially, of color, about this financial literacy. And I mean, I'm finally getting to a place of that. I didn't have it. You know, I had my little money from dancing with Ailey and then singing with these other folks. I didn't save anything. I didn't make any investments. I mean, just like out here wilding out, you know? And yeah, we don't learn these things.
I mean, I learned late too.
Yeah.
I learned about the latte fund. I ain't never heard about the latte fund. Like,
Mm.
what? Like,
Right.
yeah, I learned late too. And so I'm still fighting my old habits around financial literacy, right? But I'm putting myself in these classes. I'm reading stuff. I have no clue what they're saying or what the language is. I'm looking up the language. I'm like teaching myself.
Yeah.
So I took this moment, this pandemic moment, to grow.
Mm.
It would be a shame to come out of pandemic and not have a new skill,
Mm-hmm.
have
Mm-hmm.
new knowledge.
Yeah.
That would be devastating. And like,
Mm-hmm.
jump on, it's still time, right? Jump in those classes, figure that out. Like, of
Yeah.
which plug, I started Rennie Harris University.
I was gonna get there.
Right.
It's in my
Yeah.
notes.
Got you. Yeah.
Let's talk
So
about the
mhm.
university. Come on.
Yes, man. So yeah, I had this idea for 100 years, of course, and I just was like, no, no, no. But the pandemic, like, pow, wake
Yeah.
up. So I started working on it. Just went back. I had half of it done already. I went in hardcore on it. Brittany Williams helped me build the site. People were excited
It looks
about
nice.
it.
I saw the site. And
Oh,
actually, your
thanks.
website and the university's website is linked in my link tree, guys. So you guys can go and
No,
check it out
nice,
after
nice.
this.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And Stacy from Fly Girl Stacy from Philly. She also, yeah,
Yes.
she helped me do the
I
Philly site,
love
the
her.
RHPM. We go way back.
Hmm.
So she helped me do RHPM site. So it was just like, okay, we're gonna move forward. Like I'm pushing forward. So I put up the site. I got let me see, Tommy DeFrance is going to
Hmm.
be resident scholar. I
Yes.
have Dr. Shamel Bell, street dance activism.
Mhm.
Dr. Susie Lundy doing writing on the walls as resistance. Like, so these are
Mhm.
all elective classes, and I have other people who are going to do pop-ups and pop in that I'm looking at, to come in. Um, yeah, you can take it. You can just take it for fun, for public, or you can take it
Yeah.
to get a teacher certificate, or any of
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So, because I got one thing I got tired of, for me, was people who weren't in the business of who weren't in the culture of hip hop then teaching it. I had people call me to ask me, "Can I have your syllabus?" Because they asked me to teach hip hop, and I don't know anything about it, so they asked me to teach it. So, can I have your syllabus? I was like, hell to the nearest no. Like, and I don't really, I mean, I have a potty mouth, I curse all the time, but I was just like, nah, I was like, yo.
Yeah.
So, and in any case, at the end of the day, you know, maybe that opens doors for people. I don't really care.
Yes.
Start your own certificate program, do X, Y, and Z. Like, I don't
Absolutely.
care. That ain't got nothing to do with me. If you rock with me,
Right.
you rock with me. When
Right.
like Elite Force, they got a whole massive following globally, right?
Hmm.
Like, that's your people. That's your
Yeah.
brand. That's like, boom. Just Soul. They got a following in Philly. In Philly, that's just them,
Yeah.
right? That ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, that's your people.
Okay.
Do your thing. Like, we all have created our brands, and we have our people who are following us, right?
Yeah.
So cultivate that
Yeah.
family. You know what I mean? Maybe you get some new people or whatever, or generational. Like, that's generational wealth. I have
Yeah.
people who are coming to see Rennie Harris Pure Movement that their parents came to see us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now they're grown. They're like out of high school and out of middle school, and we came through. People
Well,
like, yo,
really,
yeah.
these are your branches. You do recognize that, right?
What do you mean?
Like what you've established in all these years of having this company, the longest, right, formed hip hop
Hmm.
dance company. Am I saying that right?
Yeah. Hmm.
In
Hmm.
existence in this country or probably the world, but you've influenced this generation and beyond. Like this is the fruits of your labor. You are a part of these
Hmm.
roots and
Hmm.
branches going out into the world, these Kyles
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
soul
Hmm.
and passion fruit and all these other, you know what I'm saying? You gotta
Hmm.
recognize that, right?
Well, I mean, I feel like, yeah, okay, the humble part of me be like, no, I don't really think so.
No, I know.
However,
But
like,
let
yeah,
me say it
but
for you. Let me say
but
it for you.
but no, I feel like, yeah, okay, I have some influence. I've had some influence on folk. My thinking was that, I have to, shout out, like, there's a difference between, because some people don't really understand the difference between like um a hip hop theater versus, I think we all talked about this before, hip hop theater versus street dance theater versus, concert dance, hip hop
Mhm.
concert dance and all these things. And so, just like people who are listening, like, not to get them, like, oh, Rennie didn't do X, Y, Z. No, no, no. My thing is, I think that I push the vocabulary to be more
Mm.
expressive.
Yes.
You know what I mean, to be able to hold the story, whether it was
Hmm.
abstract or not to just be direct. And in hip
Hmm.
hop, we like to be direct about it. Oh, I'm driving in my car, so I'm driving in my car.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And so,
Yeah.
however, which is all valid. However,
Hmm.
like, there's a different way of, like, to me, it's a different way of doing it, right? There's a different way that you can have a different expression with it. And this is what I feel like I may have brought to the game with it.
Yeah,
Is I
absolutely.
like you should be able to, like I said, get up in tomorrow, like I'm creating my own thing. And guess
Yes.
what? And if it's dope, because we'll tell you, you know what I mean? Like, it's dope, it's dope. If it's not, it's not. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
there's no
absolutely.
rules with street dance, because street is just a slang word for
Yeah.
community. When
Mm.
people say street, people think, oh, it's a lower connotation. No, no. If you're if you're looking at it from a Western standpoint, because
Right.
they think from hierarchical
Mm.
processes, right? From the African standpoint, no, it is what it is. It's the community and
This
streets.
community.
When my mom said, Lorenzo, why you out there running in the streets? I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't just running up and down the street. I was at my cousin's house, my girlfriend's
Yeah.
house. I went to go see so and so. I saw my aunt. I went to the store. I wound up somewhere in West Philly walking my whole day. Like, you in Philadelphia, you can go out to, especially in the summer, you walk out
Yes.
the door, you wind up in Southwest Philly and they don't know how you got there. Like, oh my
Oh,
God,
speaking of
where are you?
Southwest Philly, King
Hmm.
Grit says, "What's up?" He wanted to watch.
Oh,
I know
yes,
he was like, "I'm
yes.
gonna miss it. I
I
want to hit
know
the
King
archive."
so long. We worked
Oh,
together at Tower Records.
oh my God,
King is hilarious.
he's the best. He's the best. You know,
I
we grew up around
love
the corner
him.
from each other.
What?
Yeah, on in Southwest Philly, we would go to get the trolley to go to school in the
Hmm.
mornings at 56 and Chester Avenue, the 13
Hmm.
trolley. And he
Wow.
lived on, I think, Allison Street and just whatever.
Hmm.
But we would see each other at the corner, and we
Hmm.
were both our little artsy fartsy selves, and we know we looked different for the neighborhood. And we would see each other and be like, just and then so to
Hmm.
get older, and then to see each other's careers
Yep.
germinating and
Hmm.
getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So
And,
yeah.
hmm and you know who else is up? I didn't mention Shalimar. Shalimar is from 56 and Vodges.
Oh,
Like
the
the
corner.
best popper by far coming out of Philadelphia. Nobody
Absolutely,
wasn't
right?
touching Shalimar. So I just wanted to put that out
I
there.
love
Yeah.
working with my Philly people. I mean, I've been so
Hmm.
happy to, since I've been at Summer Stage here in New York, bring up the Philly crew, yourselves, Raw, your junior. Do you still have the
Hmm.
junior company, Raw?
Yeah, yeah. We're just reshifting. Like here's the craziest part. So everybody that was in Raw shifted over to RHPM.
Oh, good.
Right. So now a lot of people, now we have a few people who've just kind of come into RHPM, but a moment like Sam, my son, Miley, all those, they were coming out of Raw into RHPM, and now we have a full, RHPM.
That's
So
awesome.
we just started in the last, right, maybe a year or two before pandemic to repopulate Raw. So we've been
Mm-hmm.
doing that. We was funny. I have just found like two young dancers out of not Pittsburgh, out of Chicago. 'Cause while we were touring, I often bring on new dancers if they're from that city and say, "Hey, do a solo here or come dance with us and then pay you this little
Mm-hmm.
money." And I'm really kind of looking at and checking them out. You know what I mean? Because I heard of them or whatever. So I found these two dancers, but I was unable to bring them because the pandemic hit. Same thing with the young lady in Jersey, a few people. So now I'm just kind of matter of fact, just getting that back up to
Yeah, Ron, that's what Ron
yeah,
said.
yeah.
Ron's,
Um,
yeah.
uh, uh, a few people out of New York, younger dancers. So yeah, I like Raw because Raw make RHPM work because they're
And I know
young,
exactly what
they're
you mean by
younger,
that.
but not like not the RHPM is younger, old, but like when you see them go,
You're like, ooh.
yeah, like it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and that brings in, and then eventually as RHPM dancers, as they have like just like Kyle and Dinita moved on into creating their own thing, they all move on and do their thing. And I often tell the dancers, you're not going to become rich dancing for me.
Right.
Yeah, you may become rich after dancing for me.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like maybe you learn some tools and some things that will
Right,
actually
right.
help you take you to this other space, this other level,
Yeah.
that you should be at. You know what I mean? But yeah, Raw. Matter of fact, I was just thinking like I'm finding a date in August to get there, like sort of first rehearsal.
Oh, cool. It's a
Hmm.
wonderful lineage. I've had Raw. I did Raw in
Hmm.
Queensbridge years back,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
so fun.
Hmm.
But I wanted to ask you too before I mean, we're almost at almost hour and a half. I'll keep it just a few more minutes, but
Hmm.
um, working with Ailey. Now I know you've done several works on the company, Love Songs, Exodus, and the last one, which was the epic, amazing Lazarus. I mean, it took you there, right? It was a 2-act ballet. And one, had you ever met Mr. Ailey?
No, I have to say though, in 19, when did I leave New York? 87, 88. It had to be either 85 or 86.
Mhm.
I opened up for Ailey at Symphony Space.
Oh, wow.
Hmm. Didn't know him. At this time, I'm really still hardcore. I didn't care about nothing else. I didn't watch modern dance. I was like, I didn't get it. Like we call
Right.
modern dance and jazz, we call both of those things ballet.
Right.
Like they doing that ballet stuff. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, when I say I'm raw, I'm raw. That's why I
Yeah.
call the company raw, too, because it kind of represents my spirit back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I didn't have a chance to meet him, and I was really sad about that. I
Mm.
did the first thing I did, home. So it was,
Home.
yeah, it was love stories, home, Lazarus. I mean, Exodus and Lazarus. But
Right.
home, in many ways, was the beginning of me thinking about Mr. Ailey. But
Interesting.
but yeah, because I had, there was a story about how he died,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know what I mean? Like that moment and why he died, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
home represented that. That was
Right.
Mr. Ailey's spirit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so we move into, so it's really a trilogy.
It really
Hmm.
is.
Yeah, so we start in that club, that moment, that fight between God and that person and those folk. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
when I lived in New York, everything was segregated. Everybody, like white club, black club, gay club. I went to New York, everybody was like, woof, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew that everybody was, it was a whole different thing. People were into, this was where they lived in the club. It was a
Yeah.
culture. It wasn't a place you go. It was a culture. And
Mm-hmm.
so that resonated with me, with home. And so
Mm-hmm.
based on that, low key, no one really, and this is like probably a second, third time I've actually said this in regards to that really being Mr. Ailey.
Wow.
Um, uh, um, with oh boy, who played the lead.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember.
Can't remember.
He, yeah. Anyway, so
Yeah.
yeah,
But you have a
Matthew,
great
Matthew,
relationship with
Matthew, Matthew.
Matthew
Yeah,
Rushing, right?
yeah.
You have a great relationship, obviously, with Miss Jamison, and oh, we just adore her. And so with
Yeah,
Laz,
she crack. Yo, that's my mama, right? That's my baby right there. Yo, her, and D Ross together is no good.
and I love when we have our little texting moments, and she's always
Uh-huh.
sending all these emojis and whatnot, which is
Yeah, uh-huh.
awesome, right?
Yeah.
And so with Lazarus, it's is that chapter closed? Is that Alvin chapter closed? I'm on him. I'm
I
saying not
mhm.
dancing, not doing work for the company, but do you finally feel like you've closed that chapter?
I don't. It feels like it is. I don't
Yeah.
know, because at that last moment when he goes, Mr. Alien, you see his
Oh,
his his silhouette. It's like
right.
haunting. You know what I mean? It's
Right
like,
there, we're all sobbing, just sobbing
yeah.
in the audience.
It's like, oh snap, he's still here. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
it
So I
really.
felt like bringing his spirit in, and James Clotfelter helped bring that alive with that lighting thing
Mm,
gift. He keep, like, to say, hey, he's still here. He's still watching. He still sees y'all. Yeah,
yeah.
you're like, he sees what's going on. You just can't like be rocking out here thinking like, okay, no, Mr. Ailey here. He's in that new building. I was happy. Judith Jamison, Mr. Jamison took me to that building before it was built. She gave me a
Mm,
tour. You know what I mean? And that spirit was in that building and those
yeah.
beams. And I still feel the same way about it. Yeah. So I think that it's not closed. It just means that I feel like he's watching. He's here.
Yes. Yeah, I only got to meet him once. And
Mm,
that was when I've told this story before, but the company was on tour in Philly. I guess it had to be like 88 or 9, 88. No, yeah, it was probably 88 and maybe a little bit before. But yeah, so Aunt Joan threw the company a party after they showed the Academy of Music. And she took me over to meet him and his booming voice, and I was all scared, but he was wonderful. And then, his passing happened. I just remember being so devastated that I would never get to dance for him. But I would always get beautiful messages from Chaya and Judy to say, they would say things to me like, oh, Alvin would have loved the way you did X, Y, and Z. And so that
mm.
gave me some comfort because I
Yeah.
just owe the gratitude,
Yeah. And Chaya was, yeah, speaking of Chaya was instrumental in letting me know that I was on the right track with Lazarus. He didn't
Yes.
have to say anything. It was his face. I would look
Right.
over at him, and like I can see that he was holding the tears back when he would watch
Mm-hmm.
rehearsal. You know what I mean? He
Mm-hmm.
was just like, oh, I could see him, and
Mm-hmm.
he was just walking. He wouldn't say anything to me. He might hug me or something, and
Well,
just
it's
kind
like
of
you
like,
feature, I'm glad you said that because you feature heavily in the new Alvin Ailey documentary. It's all about those rehearsals. And you talking to the
Yeah.
dance, and you see Judy at one point, I guess maybe that same part in the piece, and she just looks down because it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, oh, and that's at the height of me with my hips too, by the way. I'm waddling back and forth. I don't even, in my mind, I'm walking straight, of course, right?
Right.
But I didn't want to miss up. I was supposed to get the hip surgery then. I didn't want to miss this opportunity to set
Yeah.
this piece. So I
Yeah.
hired Nina Flagg, Nina Flagg and Millie Heckler. Like Nina has always been, you know, like she had my stuff down from day one. She danced in
Yeah.
Face of Mecca. She's, you know, and then Millie was one of my students who, like, just like, you know, she was just on. So I hired those two. I talked to them. I also hired a skeleton crew in the morning, some dancers from New York, some of Nina's friends. We would rehearse in the morning, get the stuff together, and then in the afternoon, give it to the Ailey company and like set and ready to go. You know what I mean?
Go.
So this is how I got around the hips. All I had to do was just
Right.
sit there, talk to people, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Between Nina and Millie, they both knew my style. They understood my language. I could
Yeah.
just say, do this, do this, do this, do that, and then it would get done. So yeah, so that's the whole team, of course, and then James Klotfelter, who was like we call him MacGyver. When we went to the Middle East with for Obama, I took him. He retired. I said, you have to go.
Yeah.
And thank God he did, because he was making lights out of cans.
Yeah.
And not the light cans. He's like a real
Right.
like pork and bean can. Like he's like
Oh my
fixing
God.
it. Like yeah, so. I definitely, the team really helped put that, like, supported my vision on that, you know what I mean? And Darren Ross, me and him in the hotel, we did
Darren
that work in
Ross.
the hotel room. We did that in the office of Ailey, a
Wow.
lot of that soundtrack.
Wow. Brilliant.
Like
I'm so
just,
glad I'm getting to
yeah.
work with both of you guys this summer. In essence, your companies. I mean, you with
Yeah.
my one dance performance event this summer, and then
hmm
with Darren with the Michael Jackson project. I mean, it's just coming out of this. I don't know, coming out of this pandemic. I just wanted to work with companies and people that I know and love. It's a lot. It's emotional. I mean, I'm working with a couple of new people too because you know I want to get some new blood up on that stage, but.
Yeah, yeah.
Souls of Duende, but I just really wanted to just embrace people that I know who've been rocking and rolling with me all this time, and just let's restart.
That's the credit to you, like that whole. And this was the thing I was talking about earlier, where presenters didn't think. I said, they were saying like we want to have a connection to community. All right, cool. Well, just bring us in to teach a class this next year.
Yeah.
And then bring us to do a workshop, maybe a lecture the following year. And then the third year, maybe bring us back, or maybe the fourth year. We don't have to hire us every year. We're trying to create we're building the audience by always being present in your audience on some level. And that is the way that you do it. And now this is why you're not forced to lie about your diversity. You know what I mean? Like in the community work, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, so like like even we Alonzo and some of his wife and a few singers out of Portland and Lifted, we created a lot of that stuff also in the dorms at Bates.
Wow.
Like even some of the Alvin Ailey stuff in the dorms at Bates. Like we just set up pillows and stuff like that for sound and all kinds of crazy stuff. So, it's about getting it in where you fit in. You know what I mean? Get in where you fit in. You know what I mean?
I know
And
that's
get it
right.
done. Get it done, man. Like it's. I don't wait for money to come to me. If I do that, I wouldn't have a job. I wouldn't be working.
Yeah.
Like if I have an idea, I'm gonna do it. And if people want to rock out with me, this is what I tell my dancers. Know this. I want people who are with me when I don't have any money.
Oh.
Don't come to me thinking you made it. No. You're not gonna appreciate that money when I pay it to you.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, you think you deserve it. No.
Yeah.
We earn it. We don't deserve it. We earn money, right? We deserve love. We deserve all the other stuff. The money, we're all valuable.
That's
what I mean?
right.
So I want people who are ready. Like when I say, listen, all I have is X, Y, and Z. And here's your option. You could do it. Or you don't have to do it. It's okay. I'll come back. Tell me what your price is. Tell me what your low price is. If I can afford it, I'll come back to you.
That's right. That's right.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
So,
Rennie, this has been so awesome. You've been dropping all kinds of jewels this whole time because I usually like to end with, What do you want to tell the kids, on the come up, just, moments of inspiration,
This
anything?
take action. Stop thinking you're doing it. There's dopamine going off in your brain when you say your ideas out loud, right? And that satisfies you. You forget to take action with that. So the word is going to inspire you, but the action is going to confirm you. So take actions. Just do it. Like you're tired. Like I get up at 5 a.m. every day.
Yeah.
I roll out of that bed.
Okay.
I crawl over. Like I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I start off with my warm up on the floor just so I can get what I mean? Like take action. Action is the only thing that will change your reality. If you don't take an action, your reality will never change. We have proof of this every day. If you just get out the room right now and walk into another room, your entire reality has just changed.
Yeah.
So take action. That is the thing. Stop talking and stop telling everybody what you're doing. Hit them when it's done. Hit them when it's like almost done. Yeah, because I know the tricks. Yeah, because you gotta, because that people are like, they immediately either start hating or being jealous. I mean, they can't help it, right? Because we're all emotional undeveloped, and so we're at certain levels where our emotions. So you can't blame them. Like just because by putting it out all the time, you're satisfying something in your like physically. The neurons, you're satisfying yourself, which means you feel like you did it by talking about it, but you haven't done anything.
You ain't done nothing.
That's that guy or that girl that keeps coming back. Yeah. See, what I'm trying to do is, as soon as you hear the word trying, X, cut it.
Right.
Them prices way too high.
Yes.
No trying. You don't try. Like people would kill me. Like, hey, JT, he did the costumes for Exodus, man. Hey.
Yes. Hey, JT.
Beast. Yes, I just shout him out. People, as soon as you hear that word try, like it cracks me up because people will do some stuff like, yeah, I was trying to call you, and I'm like, what'd you do? Your finger was like this.
Right.
And it just didn't make it. Now, you don't try to call somebody. Either you call them or you don't call them. Right. Or you called them and they didn't get back to you, but you don't try to call. That's automatic failure. Get that out of your vocabulary. Like we keep forgetting that words are spells. That's why they call it spelling. You keep pulling these words out like you're creating spells. So stop trying.
Yes.
Like, it's okay if you didn't do something. It's okay if you failed, because if you failed, that means you learned a lesson.
Exactly.
And you continue to learn. You continue to fail. Yeah. Right. You can continue to get these lessons. So you're just in school forever if you keep on failing at the same shit.
Okay. You know what?
You know what I mean? Like that's real talk. Like you were like, why I keep getting the same dude, the same woman? Why I keep?
Right.
You didn't learn a lesson. You got to get your ass beat. Go get your strap. Go get the switch. You didn't learn the lesson. Like, now I'm not impervious to this. I've been learning lessons all day long. My lessons is at a different level. You know what I mean? It's at a different frequency. But nobody's impervious. Everybody has to learn these lessons.
Yeah. Right. This has been awesome. So the last thing I want to ask you, though, this is great.
Yeah.
And I can't save this and watch it over again because it will save.
Hey,
When are you thinking that RHPM will be back on stage?
Well, we are scheduled to be back on stage in 2022, fully ready to go. Roman Jewels, our first stop. Oh, right. I don't know if you're still here. It's not what it was. Boston, and then we just reshifted that to.
You say October.
It's not. No. You're right. Right. It's October. We're going to be in Tennessee. Is it Tennessee? Memphis. With Mark Murphy. Oh, he's posting it. All right, good. All right, cool. We have a few spots. We'll be in October. Nice. We'll list it. We're going to list it on the website soon. Okay, we just confirm it. That's probably why I don't know. We haven't signed the contract yet.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, I don't remember anything that's not signed.
Roman Jewels again. I cannot wait.
Yep,
I'll be
yep.
front and center. Actually, so I don't know if it'll be in Philly then, but I'm gonna be home at the end of this month. So if there's a
It's the
moment that
egg.
maybe we can go see Lee Jones and get some dance grooves on because I think he's
Oh
back
yes, 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 yes,
Sundays, right?
definitely. Yep.
Yes. All right, we're gonna work that out.
It's the egg. It's the egg in is it upstate New York? Well, it's not upstate New York. The Egg Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where we'll be at in October.
Okay, cool, cool, cool,
Hmm.
cool. Well, Rennie, man,
Hmm.
I appreciate you so much. I mean, we
Oh,
go
I
way
love you, Mama. Yeah, I know. I remember
running them South Philly
sports.
streets.
What's that sports training place on right off of Fourth Street? I said you and Oli used to come in.
Holy, oh my God.
We'll have that conversation a little later. But
Why are you
that's
bringing
what
up my exes? He was an
oh,
amazing dancer, though. He
no, you
really
know what?
was.
I was so upset when we lost him to modern and ballet because he was a
Yeah,
breaker. I knew Oli as
he
a breaker.
was.
I think I was a senior. I don't know. He came in the Roman after I left,
Mm.
or right at some kind of weird moment. I got transferred for some stuff I shouldn't have been doing. I got transferred to West Catholic, but then
Mm-hmm.
but I knew Oli though, and he
Right.
was a
Oh, maybe
breaker. I
that's
knew him
how I
as a
came to your
breaker.
rehearsal. Because we started
Hmm.
dating while I was in Philadelphia. And
Right. Hmm.
he brought me to your rehearsals. That's how we met.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hmm. Yep.
Now I got it. But
Yep.
over drinks.
Yep. Yep.
Well, really have a wonderful weekend. I love you. I can't wait
Thank
to see
you.
you in
Love you too.
person.
Yeah,
Can't wait to
yeah.
see the
This has been
company.
great.
Oh, here next month in Central
Hmm.
Park. And are you gonna be able to come up with them or no?
I won't be there. I don't get. I think I'll be away.
Okay.
If I can, I will.
Okay. But I'll see you
I
this month.
will.
Hopefully.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
definitely see me. I'll be
Yeah.
out the east that way, but so I should be around. If
Okay.
I'm on the East Coast, I'll be there.
Okay. Perfect. Well,
I have to go see
okay. And the
my
university,
brothers and my sister.
stay
Yeah,
safe. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
I miss my
Yeah,
family too.
go to the
But
website, Rennie Harris, University.org if you want to register and use a payment plan and all that kind of good stuff that we
hmm
do. So,
yes, that's right. That's right. Well, thank you, Rennie. And I
thank
will
you,
see you
Mama.
soon. Thank you so much for this. I appreciate
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Likewise.
All
All
right,
right,
man. Love
bye.
you. All right.
Love you too.
Okay. Wow. Oh my God. Did you guys enjoy that? Rennie freaking Harris, man. Come on. I'm so lifted, and just everything he said, just do it. And there are so many things. I admit it. I sit on and I get nervous. I get scared. I lose confidence. Believe it or not. Hey, thank you, Rodney. Yeah, I'm so inspired. I'm so inspired, and that was wonderful. So please go to the links in my link tree. Support the company. Both the company's link is their website as well as Rennie's University, Rennie Harris University. And support the company and just look out for when they're performing. They will be here in New York doing Continuum at Central Park on July 25th. They're closing the show. So please get your tickets. We're going to rock out. We're going to have a great time. Rain or shine. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. So I love you guys. Thank you for watching. If you're around tonight, the Trocaderos are premiering Ballerina Boys on PBS. And some of the film was actually shot at Summer Stage in 2019 during Global Pride. So if you're home tonight, you're staying in tonight, go to PBS and watch Ballerina Boys, and you'll see glimpses of Summer Stage from 2019, the show that I presented. So thank you all for this. I love you. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.